Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back once again to the Aura News broadcast. It is 6 o'clock, and that means it's time for our daily English news edition. And as usual, I'm Daniel Cook, your host, 6 days a week at 6 p.m. The Ministry of Justice has submitted a list of 10 judges from different courts of the country that they want the High Council of Justice to remove from office. The ministry has also published a list of reasons why it feels that these particular judges should be relieved of their duties. 5 of them are charged with refusing to declare their wealth or concealment or false declaration of assets. The judges are from the courts of Tirana, Elbasan, Saranda, and Vlora. The Ministry of Justice is also seeking the dismissal of another judge from the court of Kavaya for what they say are very serious violations of discipline, including undeclared assets. 2 judges from Durrës and Vlora are accused of similar offenses. Lastly, the ministry is seeking the impeachment of a judge from Korça who is accused of, and we quote, behavior that seriously discredits the position and image of a judge. The same charge has been levied against a judge of the Elbasan court who is also accused of absolute lack of reasoning in a judicial ruling. In the framework of the Operation Against Informality, the Directorate for the Prevention of Money Laundering has asked for the commercial banks to report if they notice any companies with 2 sets of balance sheets. This guideline is nothing new to the current law, but is rather a reminder to the bank officers to implement the law that exists. Any employees of commercial banks who do not report such cases will have legal responsibility. The notice was sent out to all the banks of the second level. It reminds the banks of their legal obligation to report informality when they suspect it. Failure to do so is considered to be a financial crime, according to the guidance. Bank employees are advised to use care when analyzing balance sheets in order to prevent any violations of the law. Today, the tax director Basida Shehaj presented the results of the Operation Against Informality up until September 23rd. The tax director said that 47,000 businesses have been checked and that violations were found among 8% of them. Ms. Shehaj believes that the reason this percentage was so low is because of the many warnings that the government has given to business owners to clean up their behavior. She also announced a significant increase in the amount of cash registers that are being used in the business sector and in new taxpayers during the month of September. She explained that the new law on tax procedures, which has now been adopted by the Parliament, increases the severity of punishments for tax law violations. 500,000 lek is now the fine for conducting an unregistered business, and the same fine will be given to any business owners who do not report their employees or who fail to declare their true salaries. The formerly persecuted protested today against what they are calling the return of communism through the construction of bunkers. As a protest against the new bunker that has been constructed by the government for touristic purposes, they began their march outside the Parliament building and continued all the way to the new bunker near the Ministry of Interior. They wore chains to symbolize the oppression and isolation of communism and made a stop at the bunker outside the Prime Ministry, which was inaugurated during the rule of the Democratic Party. Representatives of the group held a meeting today with President Nishani, submitting a letter of protest against the recent government usage of bunkers for artistic and touristic aims. The Democratic Party is drafting 2 legal initiatives in connection to the deal with the CEZ, which has recently been under heavy fire with allegations of corruption. The Democrat lawmakers are working on a special law that will be submitted to Parliament on Monday. They are expected to ask that a number of provisions of the agreement be repealed, including a point that grants the Czech company amnesty for accumulated debts and a point that stops the parties from addressing a court in regard to the agreement. The Democrats' bill will attempt to give jurisdiction to foreign prosecutors to investigate the entire process of negotiations between the Albanian government and the CEZ company, the company that administrated the power system in Albania from 2009 to 2013. Sources from the Democratic Party have said that the special law will charge the general prosecution with reaching an agreement with the European and American prosecutors. The prosecutors will then investigate the actions of the Albanian company DIA and the negotiations between Rama's government and the CEZ company to solve their conflict. At the same time, the Democrats are seeking a full abrogation of the agreement, with the understanding that it violates the public interest and the well-being of the state. The Democrats have been against this agreement ever since the government signed it, considering the idea of the government paying the CEC €95 million to withdraw, as well as forgiving all of its debts, to be a corrupt affair. The Democrats estimate that the total financial damage the deal caused to the state was €600 million. The Democratic chairman Lulzim Basha has accused the government and the leaders of the left-wing coalition over the CEZ issue. The vice chairman of the SMI spoke today in defense of the coalition. He welcomed a full and international investigation into the issue, saying that Basha's accusations were slanderous and criminal. According to him, the SMI is in favor of a full investigation from the day that the CEZ arrived in Albania until the day they left, including the agreements with the DIA company. The SMI declared that they support any kind of international investigation and any assistance offered to the decriminalization process and the justice reform. Yesterday, the head of the SMI, Ilir Meta, made much the same statements, encouraging an international investigation with the help of the American prosecutors into the accusations against him. The U.S. Embassy has responded to the request for an international investigation into the CEZ issue using U.S. prosecutors. Embassy spokesperson Ryan Roberts made the following statement today. The United States will continue to support Albania's law enforcement institutions in their effort to increase their capacity and their effectiveness. Through the OPDAT office, the embassy offers expert advice, promotes the reforms, and promotes the prosecution of corruption. The Albanian police and prosecutors are responsible to run investigations on matters affecting the Albanian people and their institutions, reads the statement. Prime Minister Rama is currently on a trip to the United States, where he will participate in a summit called by President Barack Obama on the fight against the Islamic State. The Albanian Prime Minister delivered a speech at the World Leadership Forum in New York, sharing his personal experiences and saying that his painting helps him to project the Albania that he wants. Mr. Rama said, "I used to be an artist. I still like to paint, but now I have less time to do it. In politics, I try to paint with colors to visualize how we want the place to be, to change it at the pace of the world around us. When I do a painting, there comes a point when it's complete. The work is finished. The political picture, however, is never completely finished. At every step, we are faced with choices that we have to make, just like an artist. This color or that color, this paintbrush or that." Prime Minister Rama also commented on the need for a new Balkan region, which must be based upon dialogue. "I have a picture of a new Balkans, a region that is at peace and prosperous, which will surely be a place that never before existed. This means a higher level of dialogue," said the Prime Minister. The forum is an initiative of the Organization for Foreign Policy. It has a 97-year history and is dedicated to the development of thought, understanding, information, and public participation in foreign policy and global issues. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all of our news for this evening. Thank you for watching. Please join us again at the same time tomorrow. Thanks, and have a great night.